Hello everyone, I am Be Better Gamer. Welcome to Be Better Gamer Wrestling, your place for Let's Plays of WWF No Mercy, WCW NW Revenge, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, and WWE 2K16. A little bit of the past, a little bit of the present, and a little bit of the future. I'll get to more of that in a moment, but thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you watch it all the way through. I'm trying to do shorter videos for my WWE 2K16 Let's Play series, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate all my subscribers, all the people who are leaving such wonderful, beautiful comments, liking my videos, and boosting that subscribe count, that like video count, that retention time count, people actually watching my videos all the way through. I know I can get a little long-winded, if you will. That's why I'm trying to make some videos shorter. But yeah, I am going to be playing WWE 2K16, and I am sort of going over, I'm doing two things, killing two birds with one stone in this video. So the Future Stars pack was released January 26th, I believe. It was just released, and I kept calling it on Twitter and stuff, I kept calling it the Samoa Joe DLC pack, because let's be honest, that's the most important aspect of that downloadable content for WWE 2K16. I am playing on the Xbox 360 version. I believe I read that there was some sort of hiccup, if you will, with the Xbox One and the PS4 versions with the Future Stars pack, how it was erasing people's My Universe save files. My heart goes out to those people. I know firsthand what it's like to lose save files for many of video games, and it's never easy every time it happens. But I have the 360 version, so I had no problem downloading it. I also haven't really started Universe mode. I'm fresh, I'm new to all this WWE 2K16. But instead of going over all the characters, all the wrestlers, if you will, in the DLC pack, like I did with my Legends pack, where I did like a fantasy matchup with each wrestler in that one. Go check out one of my earlier Let's Play videos. I did that. Pretty cool stuff. I figured, I really like that idea. I really like doing the fantasy matchup, what if scenarios, if you will. And that's something I kind of want to do more with this Let's Play series. I want to do something a little bit different. And I was thinking, man, I only really want to play with Samoa Joe. No offense to Los Matadores and Blake and Murphy. You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing. But Samoa Joe has been one of my favorite wrestlers for a very, very long time. I've seen him, debut in the indie scene. I've seen him wrestle live way back in the day, before TNA, before now, WWE. So I've been following Samoa Joe's career pretty close, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers. And I thought, you know what, let me start a new series here within my Let's Play series, and that's my Dream Matchup series. And what other dream match better than Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar? As soon as I heard that Samoa Joe was finally most likely coming to the WWE, in my mind, I said, oh my goodness, I hope he faces Brock Lesnar. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a dream match, Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, setting it at WrestleMania 31, because let's face it, maybe one day they'll meet at WrestleMania, and I'll get more into that a little bit. So this is not going to be like a fantasy thing. This is, because fantasy, in my eyes, fantasy is like two wrestlers meeting at their prime, and it's something that probably can't happen today. You can't see Bret Hart in his prime against Samoa Joe in his prime. You know what I mean? Bret Hart's retired. He actually just announced that he's got cancer, so my heart goes out to Bret Hart. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I hope he pulls through it. But that, to me, is more of a fantasy match. A dream match is a matchup that can very likely happen, but the chances of it are smaller than, the chances of it happening are just not as high as, say, a regular match. Like seeing AJ Styles and Samoa Joe wrestle in WWE, very likely that's going to happen. They're both full-time wrestlers. They both recently signed with WWE, and more often than not, they will have a match. Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, two guys who probably can kill it and have a great match together and a great feud. chances of that are a little slimmer because of how Brock Lesnar is positioned within the company. He's a part-timer. His schedule is very different than a lot of other wrestlers, and they tend to keep him in that world heavyweight picture, the world heavyweight championship picture. It's getting a little fuzzy going up to this year's WrestleMania, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. But when Samoa Joe finally gets called up to the main roster, he's dominating right now in NXT, doing some great work, great matches there. Will he eventually cross paths with Lesnar? And there's a lot of things that could prevent that from happening. So I'm going to talk about all that really quickly. I'm going to go over all those little things and talk about why I want to see Samoa Joe and Lesnar. I should also say, since this is a Let's Play, so I'm playing on the normal difficulty, and this is my first time playing with the epic match setting, because I figured, yeah, this is going to be an epic match, right? Let's put in an epic match setting, and it's basically, it takes a little bit longer to win. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with WWE 2K16, so I'm winning matches on normal fairly easily. So I figured maybe if I put it to epic, it'll not only give me more time to talk and play, but just show a little bit more of what Samoa Joe is capable of. They got all his moves. They got the Muscle Buster, the Chimera, suplex combination, the Coquina Clutch. They got everything. They got a lot of great stuff that he does. A lot of his strikes, his enziguris. It's all in here. Very well done wrestler. But all right, let's look at the tail of the tape. So why this match? Why is Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe a dream match for me, for Be Better Gamer? All right, let's look at the tail of the tape. Samoa Joe, he's 36 years old, recently signed with the WWE. 6'2", 282 pounds. He made his debut in 1999. All right, so he's been around for a long time. Like I said, I've seen him wrestle back in the early 2000s. I've seen him wrestle 2000, 2001 on the indie scene. Probably not, maybe not 2000. Maybe 2001 is when I first saw him. I can't remember. I can't tell you the date. I have pictures. I can show you pictures. But, so far in NXT, he won the 2015 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. But his legacy speaks for himself. He is the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion with a total of 645 days as champion. He is a TNA Grand Slam champion, winning all the championships over there in TNA. Brock Lesnar is compared to Samoa Joe. Brock Lesnar's 38, so he's only 2 years older than Samoa Joe. He's 6'3", okay? Samoa Joe's 6'2", and Lesnar is 286. That's their build weight, okay? That's if you go to WWE.com, that's what they have him as. I'm sure, their weight probably fluctuates a little bit, but they're pretty equal in size, and I don't think people realize that with Samoa Joe. I've seen him in person. Samoa Joe is much bigger than he looks like in person. He's got a very unique body type, so I think people underestimate how massive he is. He's an intimidating figure. If you think Brock Lesnar is intimidating, you ever meet Samoa Joe in person, he's a pretty intimidating guy. But Brock Lesnar made his debut in the year 2000. Everyone knows Brock Lesnar's career: 4-time World Heavyweight Champion, 2002 King of the Ring, 2003 Royal Rumble match winner. He ended The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania, and then he went and he fought in UFC, became the UFC World Heavyweight Champion, became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion in Japan before he did that, and that's something I'm going to talk about a little bit. It's very important for this dream match. So why do I think this match can be great? Samoa Joe was doing the MMA gimmick before everyone started doing the MMA gimmick. He was one of the innovators of mixing MMA style with pro wrestling style. And that's what helped set him apart early on. He was hitting you hard with those stiff chops and kicks and ensiguris, but also being known as a submission specialist, which is something they've always carried with him in TNA, and even now in WWE. He's finishing a lot more with the Coquina Clutch. Then I am giving Lesnar the Muscle Buster. Here we go. Am I going to put him away? This is on Epic. Right away, 1, 2. Oh, he kicks out. Oh, of course he would. That's why it's epic. But Samoa Joe, always known as a submission specialist, MMA style fighter, and obviously Brock Lesnar has legit MMA credentials. Samoa Joe trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's trained in judo and kickboxing, and I'm sure that's still part of his regimen. So you can have a perfect blend of styles with Samoa Joe against Lesnar with that. and that could showcase a lot of what Lesnar doesn't get to showcase. He doesn't get to showcase a lot of his MMA stuff in the WWE because I feel like he doesn't, you can't really just bust out all your MMA stuff when the other person you're wrestling with, maybe they don't work on that level. That's why Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle was so good back in the day, because they're both legit amateur wrestling champions. I mean, Kurt Angle, obviously Olympic gold medalist, but Brock Lesnar, NCAA world heavyweight champion. Well, not world heavyweight champion, but NCAA champion. So that's why their chemistry was so good, because they had that tool that they could share with each other that they probably couldn't share with everyone else. Brock Lesnar couldn't do that with The Rock. Rock has a wholly, entirely different skill set. But when they have something in common, it makes matches that much more special. I mean, speaking of Kurt Angle, you look at Samoa Joe's feuds with Kurt Angle in Impact Wrestling. I mean, that can give you a taste of what Samoa Joe is capable of doing with Lesnar. Lesnar and Kurt Angle had great feuds. Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle had great feuds. So you would think that Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, without ever having worked together ever in the history of wrestling, and since 1999, since 2000, they've never met. I'm sure the chemistry would be instant, would be fantastic between Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. So the chemistry, I think, would be there. As for another exciting element of the match, Samoa Joe can go strong style. Samoa Joe will hit you as hard as possible. Again, not many guys have challenged Brock Lesnar in that way. I think there's other reasons for that, but I would love to see more of that, and especially I think that's what Samoa Joe is going to bring to the WWE. In NXT, he had a fantastic match with Tommaso Ciampa where they just beat the shit out of each other, hit each other as hard. It was like you were watching a Ring of Honor match. Like, this is stuff that goes on all the time in Ring of Honor. This is stuff that goes on all the time in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That strong style kind of match where you're just hitting each other as hard as possible. It adds authenticity to the wrestling matchup, which is something that Brock Lesnar already brings in the ring. But if you look at all his matches coming into the WWE, you haven't really seen him hit as hard as you would think he would. You know what I mean? Like, he hits hard. Obviously, he looks devastating. But if you're a fan of the strong style, if you're a fan of RH, you know what I'm talking about. And that's something I think Samoa Joe can bring out of Brock Lesnar. Show great size of each of them. And Lesnar has wrestled in Japan. Lesnar was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He won it in a triple threat match with Masahiro Chono and Kazuyuki Fujita, I believe. He also defended it against Shinsuke Nakamura, another fantastic Japanese wrestler who has MMA background and is recently signed to the WWE, and I'm super excited. But again, I really do believe they can have a fantastic chemistry right off the bat. So here, I should mention the gameplay real quick. I'm going for the submission. And the breaking point obviously isn't enough, and I'm furiously tapping away, but it's not mattering anything. I wish that the computer would crawl to the ropes, because here it looks like I just let him go, which I didn't. It's just the breaking point wasn't ready for him to tap out. It would have been cool. There's a Dragon Sleeper. Shout out to Ultimo Dragon. It would have been nice if the computer, every time I put him in submission, they go for the ropes as well. That's just like a little... I don't know, it's like a little aesthetic that I miss. You see that a lot in the N64 games. They're always going for the ropes. Here, you got that breaking point, and you're so focused on the breaking point. But I think, in a real match, Lesnar would be going for the ropes. You know what I mean? Anyone would be going for the ropes. I just had to mention that. It kind of bugs me about this game. But yeah, so this is a dream match for me because, again, those styles... would be a perfect blend. But if you think about it, so Lesnar apparently has a 3-year contract with WWE this time around. This is his second contract renewal since coming back from UFC. He's apparently got 3 years, so if you think about it, it was signed right before WrestleMania 31, so maybe it goes from WrestleMania 31 to 34. That only leaves us with 2 more WrestleManias, because I'm not counting 32, because 32 it looks like they're going to do Lesnar against Wyatt. I don't think Joe's going to be brought up before WrestleMania 32. I think he's going to be brought up after WrestleMania. I've been saying since way back in the day, now everyone's saying it, but I've been saying way back in the day that they should bring him up the day after WrestleMania and put him in a feud right up with Roman Reigns. He should come out. You know, Roman Reigns just celebrating your World Heavyweight Championship run, celebrating with the Usos, your cousin The Rock, Rikishi. You know, you got this great lineage that helped you get where you was. You know, I had to bust my ass for 15 years. I'm Samoan. You know, like, why didn't I get the red carpet rolled out like you did? I wasn't born with the silver spoon in my mouth? Oh man, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe would kill it. Samoa Joe would be a great heel, and that's how I think he should be introduced in the WWE. And he needs to establish himself as a top heel, and he can definitely doing that by right away challenging Roman Reigns, challenging Ambrose, challenging all the top faces. But Brock Lesnar is going to leave WrestleMania 32 as a top babyface. So when Brock Lesnar comes back, if Samoa Joe is ready by then as a heel, oh my goodness, how amazing would that be? Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, and Samoa Joe has to win. That's why I win this match with the Coquina Clutch, which I'm probably going to do right now, I believe. But Samoa Joe, as the top heel, I think it would help establish him for being the next top heel for the next several years by beating Brock Lesnar. And they could have several matches. It could be great. It could be fantastic. They could kill each other in the ring. It would be awesome. It would be great to see. They could have a submission match. Oh man, how awesome would that be? But, you know, you look at Brock Lesnar on the flip side. You know, the possibility of that, of Samoa Joe and Lesnar happening, you know, as much as I think it's a strong possibility, realistically, since he has such limited time, you look at, well, what other feuds have they still not done with him that they can probably get mileage of that WWE might prefer to go with. They could still do Brock 2. They still have to do Reigns Lesnar 2. They could probably have him feud with Orton. That hasn't really been done. They can have him feud with, you know, maybe Ambrose a little bit. Ambrose has been getting involved lately with Roman Reigns and Lesnar. Kevin Owens has been rumored. Cesaro. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that I feel like WWE might go with before we get to Samoa Joe Lesnar, and by then it could be WrestleMania 34 and Lesnar should be gone. So that's why this is a dream match, because there's a lot of things that might not let this match happen, specifically because of Lesnar's time limit. But I've explained why I would love to see this match, why I'm super excited about Samoa Joe finally getting called up to the WWE roster, and why I'm excited about this DLC, because it's basically, let's face it, it's the Samoa Joe DLC pack. So I hope you enjoy this. I'll be doing more dream matches down the line, but I figured I'd start with Samoa Joe because of the DLC. So let me know what you think. Let me know if this is a dream match for you, or what other Samoa Joe dream matches you would like to see, or even Brock Lesnar dream matches. Hit me up, let me know, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You've been on YouTube before, you know what to do, and thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Watch all my other Let's Plays, No Mercy, Revenge, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.